Okay, hey everybody. It is August 12th, 2018, and I'm just really excited about the Boss Babe call tonight, and I'll tell you why. The directors and I decided to do a little contest, and if you're not on the Boxer group, the Boss Babe Boxer group, if you're not on there, you need to tell your director to put you on there because all the directors are on there. You have to be on the Boxer group to participate, okay? So this is for all the directors that are on our Boxer group, and it's for all the consultants that are on there with us, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to give away a $100 Amazon gift card. And you get your name in the drawing for every time you get, for each new team member you get in the month of August. And directors, they count too. So if the directors get 5 people, then their name goes in 5 times. Okay, so the directors are buying the gift card, and we're just splitting it up, and then we will give it to you. So most of you that are on here, I recognize your names as being on our Boxer group, but just in case you're listening to this call, because I do record it and send it out to my unit, and you're like, wow, well, I'd like to be in that contest. Well, then you need to let me know. Boxer is a free app. It's really easy. It's just as easy as text messaging, and it's really easier because you can just leave a message for me or your director. And then the Boss Babe group, we mainly just do training on there, and then every now and then, like after the calls, we have you tell us if you were on there. But for the most part, you know, it's just some training and things that I get and that I feel like are of value. I'm on a Boxer group with all the top sales directors, everybody that's won the top sales director trip. And so they share some phenomenal things, and there's a lot from national sales directors that come in that I get to share. So I just want to encourage you, if you are on Boxer, if you're listening to this, get on Boxer, download the little app. It's orange. It looks like, what? Can y'all see this? Let me see if I can get it. It's that one. And that's not a very good thing. So anyway, it's an orange little app that looks like a little cell phone, and it says Boxer. So you want to get on that and then let your director know we can add you to the Boxer group, okay? So that's the first thing I want to tell you about. So $100 gift card, and I just can't wait to see who's going to win it. So, and that's, you just have their agreement just has to go in by the end of the month, the 31st. And we already have several that have gone on the Boxer group and said, I signed so-and-so, and the date you signed it. And so I'm writing those names down. And if you're on the Boxer group and you're like, hey, I got to recruit on the 2nd and I didn't know, you need to box us on there, okay? You need to do it personally, not your director. You need to do it, okay? Because then I know you're participating, all right? So it's just one of the privileges of you being on our great Boxer group, all right? And I think connection is very important for us to move forward with this new year to reach our goals. Is you be connected to your sales director and whatever she's participating in. And she happens to be participating in our Boxer and this Boss Babe group, so you need to participate in it. And it just makes a difference because we know who's on board with us. And it's a great way to communicate and keep people fired up, because you're always going to have those weeks that you don't feel like doing anything. And then you can get back on the call and go, all right, I'm back. And it's great because then you only lost 7 days, not like 2 months, and we hadn't heard from you. So just commit, and thank you for all of you that are on here live right now. You just don't really know how much I appreciate you, okay? So a couple of other announcements before I do some training. I want to tell you about that. I want to tell you about the Preferred Customer Program deadline. Just to remind you, that's August the 17th, which is Friday. So you want to make sure you register your customers to get the holiday lookbook. 70 cents a name. You can register 1 person or you can register 100. This is one that everybody needs, even if they've only bought maybe a lip gloss from you. At the holidays, they may want to buy more from you, right? So these books will go out in September. The end of September seems too early, but it's not, because if you wait and you don't send out holiday information until November, some people are already finished. Like, it's crazy. I certainly don't. I start in December, but a lot of people order early and they like to pace themselves. So you want to do that. Also, the new products, of course, if you did the Preferred Customer Program for the fall, or if you were a star consultant, you can order on the 10th. And hopefully you've already placed your order for all the new products, the eyebrow tint, the new eyebrow pencils, the coconut spray, Reviver facial spray, the new botanicals. And we tested out at our meeting last Monday. It's awesome. I'm so excited about those botanicals. It's so much better than what we have already. Sell through what you've got and get the new one. It's going to be a great set to sell to our 18 to 25-year-olds. I really believe that. Star Consultant, I know all of you want to be a 4-quarter star and win the Cadillac collection of that Kate Spade products where you're a 4-quarter and you get that 5th prize at seminar. You know, this is what we got last year for 4-quarter. This is one of the ones. And so I love this Kate Spade bag. This is almost a $400 bag. It was like $398. Bam. I can assure you I would not go spend $400 on that bag, but I sure do love it when they give it to me. So you have a chance to get that 5th prize at seminar by being a 4-quarter star. So you want to look and see how much do I have in. You want to have at least $1,200 in by the 15th because that makes you on target. And then you do another $600 by September the 15th and you got it done. So look at that. Try not to get too behind on that because if you do, it's really just a $150 order a week. It's just not that much, really. But if you wait, then, you know, you'll have to do it all the last day. So, you know, let's pace ourselves on that. The key, oh, man, and I had it on. Y'all probably seen it already, but the key for this month is in the other room. It's so cute. It's shorter. It's like a choker, and the key is sideways, and it's got crystals on it. It is so pretty. I love, love, love the key this month. And, of course, it represents being a goal setter. And those of you that won the key in July, you want to go for all 12 months to win your key. And those of you that are new in August, then you'll do 11 months, and that counts for you. Okay, so of course they're not going to penalize you. You weren't even in July. So you want to don't miss that month. And even if you did miss it, hey, just say, I'm going to do it anyway for the next 11 months. I'm going to win every single piece of jewelry of that key collection. So those are the just announcements I wanted to remind everybody of for this week. This month is moving, you guys. I mean, it's moving. It's the 12th. And so if you've had big goals to get on target for your car, you know, then you need to have at least 3 recruits in by now, 2 or 3, and then 5,000 in production. You know, you want to get that about 2,500 in by then so that you can be on target for your car. If you had goals of, you know, being in your red jacket then, and you had none at the beginning, you need to at least already have 1 or, you know, 1.5. So work on that. Your goals are all month long, not just the last day of the month. Okay, so think about what you've done, and if you had goals of doing 30 faces the month and you have not done it, you should already have 12 done. It's the 12th, right? So you might have to make up some for this week. If maybe you were like freaked out, your kids went back to school and you had to do school shopping 24/7 for 5 days in a row, then now they're in school, let's go, right? Most of them are in school. Some of them are starting next week, I realize. So the training I want to talk to you guys tonight is from a book, and this is called Don't Be Afraid to Stump Your Toe, and it's by Garth Pleasant. Garth Pleasant was my middle school and high school. He was my middle school, one of my middle school basketball coaches, and then he also was one of my coaches for high school. He and Coach Roller. And so when I saw he wrote a book, I'm like, I got to get that book because you know how you have people in your life that influenced you when you were younger, that maybe it was a teacher or a coach or a mentor or somebody that made a difference in your life. And Garth was one of those for me. And at the bottom it says lessons from an old coach. And so he went on to his dream was to coach at Michigan Christian College, which now is Rochester University, and it's in Flint, Michigan. And that was his goal when he graduated from high school, and he did it and won 4 national championships. He's in the Hall of Fame in Michigan for coaching, and you know, just a great Christian man. He was a preacher as well, majority of those years, and his love for the Lord and his love for the game and for people has just always been endearing. And he came down to Georgia Christian School, where I went to school, and we had our 100th year celebration of the school, and a lot of the people that used to work and coach, they came down, and he was one of them. I got to see him, and he's just a great friend. And I used to babysit his kids who are now in their 40s. I already see you, Kim Barfield. But he's just a neat person. And so I thought I'm going to read, I got his book, and I thought I'm going to read a couple chapters, see if there's anything I could talk about. This is, you know, we always talk about how sometimes you'll hear something at church and then you hear it on the radio and then somebody else will mention it and you're like, that's confirmation. Like I always say it's confirmation that either you really need to hear it. So on last week I was reading Mary Kay's autobiography, and she was talking about in there about the gifts of the talents that is in the Bible, the story of the talents. And then on our Saturday morning call with Dawn Alton Sweeney, Dawn talked about it, how Mary Kay used to write on our dollar bills. In fact, I have one right here. I may grab it here to show you. And she would put Love Mary Kay, and then she would put the scripture, Matthew 25, 15 through 30, which is the story of the talents. So I picked up this book earlier this afternoon, and the first thing was, it says, don't be afraid to stump your toe. And it says 2 Timothy 1:7, which says, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but a power and of love and of a sound mind. And so I started to read it, and he tells the story about, it's just kind of a funny story about he was trying to get on this jet ski with his kid, and his kid was 14, and they wouldn't let him do it by himself. He had to be 15, and he said, so, they were on vacation, so he didn't want to do it, but he said, all right, I'll go do it with you. And so he said the first problem, he tried to put on the little, vest that you have to wear, and lifesaver vest, and he said they didn't have one big enough, so it wouldn't snap. He said that was should have been my sign number one. He said, so then the kid got on there, and then he cranked it, and then the goal was he was just going to get on it, and then they were going to go. Well, he gets on it, and the jet ski goes straight up because of his weight, and both of them fall off. And, of course, the beach is covered. It's in Lake Huron, and the beach is covered, like 600 people. It's 4th of July weekend, and everybody's having a good laugh seeing the fat man get on the back of the jet ski, and he just can't make it work. He said, he said, I tried it like 2 or 3 times. So finally the people thought he's close enough to 15 and let my kid go and do it himself. He said, so if that wasn't bad enough, he goes, I'm walking back like the walk of shame from the water to the beach. And he goes, and then I stomped my toe, my baby toe. He goes, and I was just sure I had broken it all the way off. He said, it hurt so bad. He said, and so I'm just wanting to cry. And in the book, he's like, I saw an old lady. I wanted to knock her down. I wanted to kick the kids out of the water. He goes, I'm just hurting. If you knew him, you knew how funny he is. He said, so I'm getting back up there, my wife and my kids. And he said, they're dying laughing. And I'm just like, ugh. He said, and so I always remember when I was a kid, he said, you stump your toe. What your mom would say something like, if you hadn't been running around, it wouldn't have happened. And he said, well, she was right. If you never move, you'll never stump your toe. And so the rest of the chapter, he was talking about, as you live, you do run the risk of stumping your toe and getting hurt. But a lot of people, they don't want to take any kind of risk of anything because they don't want to get hurt, either mentally or physically. And so then right here, it says that he was talking about your spiritual life and your talents. And he said, let's take a look at the passage found in Matthew 25, 15 through 30. And so I know most of you are believers, and I bet most of you have heard this parable or the story that Jesus told in the Bible. But I'm going to read it to you just in case, because, I did grow up. I went to a Christian school. We had chapel every single day. I went to a Christian college. We had chapel every single day. So I've been kind of raised in the church. And so but I want to read it to you in case you've never read it. And I'm not sure what version this is, but I'm going to read it out of the book. So it says, this is Jesus talking to his disciples. He's trying to make a point here. He says, to one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work, and he gained 5 more bags. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. And in some versions it says 5 talents, 1 talent, because that's what they call gold. Of course, we like to think of it as talents too, like your gifts and talents. Okay. After a long time, the master of the servants returned and settled the accounts with him. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought another 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I've gained 5 more. His master said, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Then the man with the 2 bags of gold came and said, Master, you've entrusted me with 2 bags of gold, and see, I've gained 2 more. His master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful in a few things. I'll put you in charge of many. Come and share with your master's happiness." Then the man who received 1 bag of gold said, "Master, I knew you were a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid, and I went out and I hid your gold in the ground. See, here you go. Here's what belongs to you." His master replied, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed? Well, then you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I returned, I would have at least received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. Whoever has been given more, they will have abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken away from them. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." That's pretty strong, isn't it? Well, the third servant was rebuked because he was afraid. And you know, the book goes to talk about if you've ever been afraid in your spiritual life, like you feel like you know what the right thing to do and then you don't do it because you might get ridiculed, you might have, you know, something happen, people might say something about you. And then he said, when I asked my dad why he would do he said his dad one time, he was sitting in the hospital with a complete stranger and with a guy who was dying of cancer. And he said, I saw my dad hold a towel to the man's mouth as he vomited. When I asked my dad why he would do this task for a stranger, he responded, "It's the right thing you do, Garth." Our attitudes are often like this. If I don't move, I won't stub my toe. If I don't ask, they can't say no. If I don't answer, they can't say I'm wrong. If I don't try, then I can't fail. If I don't love, then I can't get hurt. We're this way because the evil one attacks us with fear, so we will not accomplish the works of the kingdom. We need to remember that this happened to the great men of the Bible even. But God, like the verse I read at the beginning, God calls us out of fear into boldness. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. Why am I reading Bible verses? It's not just because it's Sunday. But I think a lot of times with our Mary Kay business, what stops us is really that fear. And if we don't call them and ask them, then we're not going to get a no. So that makes us feel better, because if we ask them, then they're either going to say yes or no. And a lot of people just say, I'd rather just not ask, because that way it's not a yes, but it's not a no, right? And I think it slows us down. We don't hold parties because we're afraid that we might mess up. We're not going to be very good at it, that we might say the wrong thing, that people might laugh at us and think we don't know what we're talking about. So we just don't hold any because we don't want to be ridiculed maybe, even though I found most women are not that way. That's just in our mind. Maybe we don't go to sales meetings like we should because we haven't done anything that week, and we're embarrassed that when she does the count up, I won't even be able to stand because I didn't sell anything. When the fact is you're going to get inspiration to sell for the next week. Last week is over, right? So it's just a lot of things that you can think about this. One of the things he said here says, yes, it's true. If we reach out to people, some of them will let us down. Yes, it's true. If we share with others, some will take advantage of us. Yes, it's true. If we stand up for our faith, some might ridicule us, make fun of us, and mock us. Yes, it's true. Some people will reject us. And then he put a quote here from some thoughts by Mother Teresa. And what is funny about this is Mary Kay Ash, and even at seminar, one of the nationals, I believe, talked about this, but Mary Kay Ash read this in her speech. And matter of fact, I don't even know, it might have been on the big screen where she said it, but and you probably heard it, but I thought it was worth repeating. She said, and this is a quote from Mother Teresa, "People are often unreasonable and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you're kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you're honest, people may cheat you. Be honest anyway. If you find happiness, people might be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today may be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world your best, the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give your best anyway. For you see, in the end, it's between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway." And what he said in the book, he said, the more chance there is of stubbing your toe, the more chance you have of success. And I just thought that, I thought this was really good, because I think fear paralyzes us sometimes in Mary Kay. And we all want to do big things, and we have big dreams. And when we're at seminar, we're in our pink bubble, or maybe we're at the sales meeting and we're like, I'm doing it. I can do it. I know I can. And you get jazzed up and you get pumped up, and then you go home and you're like, and you stop because you think, nobody wants to book with me. Nobody wants to sell. Nobody wants to buy anything. Nobody's going to do this. Everybody thinks I'm stupid, or whatever you're saying to yourself. And you stop yourself. And then you go back to the sales meeting, you try to get yourself pumped up again, right? So I just want you to think about this week is that you're never going to get a yes if you don't ask. So I'm going to tell you what happened to me on Friday. And I shared this a little bit at my call with Donna and Sweeney on Saturday morning. But, I went down to Jacksonville and I had to get me some guests. I needed some guests and I didn't know anybody and I thought I got to get some guests. So I went to Steinmark was the first place I went, and I was exchanging stuff. And this girl, she saw my purse and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I love that pink purse. I love your Kate Spade." I said, "Oh, thank you." And I said, I won that. She goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I won it with Mary Kay." She goes, "Wow, that's cool." And so then she's like, "Oh, I love your nails." I got these like chrome nails, I love your nails. They're so cool. And, and the girl's probably like 20, she's in her 20s. And I said, "Well, thank you, girl." And then a few minutes later, I don't know what else. I think she liked my necklace, and I just like, "You need to be on my team." So I said, "You know what?" I said, "I'm actually here in town. I'm going to be doing something, and I'm doing facials, and I'm actually looking for some guests." I said, "Would you be interested in being my guest and having a facial?" She's like, "I've never had a facial before." And she said she goes to community college. She's been working at Steinmark for 3 years, and, that she would love to come. So she wrote her name on I thought she might be hesitant to give me her number because she's working. She wrote her name on a piece of paper, gave it right to me. And so then she says, "Now, where is it?" And I told her, then I texted her, and she said, so then I actually returned something. So I went to the store shop, and I went back to her register. And then she said, my boss just said, "Look at that girl. Look at her dress. Look at her shoes. Look at her purse. She got it going on." I said, "You need to ask her to go with you." She goes, "I'm going to, And so then she goes, "I just love that kind of pink, all that pink you got." I said, "Well, then you really," because Brad came in and brought the car. I said, "You'd really like that pink car out there." So she looks at her, she goes, "Oh, I think I'm going to cry." And she was so cute, you guys. I can't even tell you. And so anyway, so I'm like, all right, that's a win. And so, so then that night we went out to eat, and it was a male waiter, but I thought I probably need to get somebody else, to have a backup, or whatever. And so there was a cute waitress that was not waiting on me, but I thought, and Brad saw her, and I'm like, I need to talk to her. So I got up, we were leaving, and I thought, and she was running around, but so I said, "Well, I'm just going to go, and I'm just going to go by all the women here. That's what I'm going to do." So I went up to the register, and I was fixed to talk to the hostess, and there was that girl. I said, "Hey," I said, "You were the one I was just looking for." I said, "I just want to introduce myself to you." I said, "You're just so cute." And I handed my card out with Mary Kay, and I said, "I'm actually doing some makeovers tomorrow, and I'm just looking for 3 or 4 guests to join me. And I don't know if you'd be interested." I said, "But you just are just adorable. Your makeup looks really great." And she goes, "You know what? I would love to have a facial." And so I'm telling you this because I do get rejected, believe me. But every now and then, you're going to have somebody that says yes. Now, the end of that story is that next morning, she got called into work and couldn't go. And the other girl had to go. Her mother had a birthday party for her, like a birthday breakfast she had to go to. But both of them are rescheduling. Like, I'm gonna go back to Jacksonville and talk to them. And I went ahead and sent both of them some information about the company. And because I feel like you meet people for a reason. They both may not sign up. I don't know. But all I'm saying is, it's easy not to invite them, but why not just ask them? And if they say no, most people, for the most part, are going to be friendly to you. They are not going to be hateful. And if they are hateful, honestly, just in your mind go, "Well, I dodged a bullet because I almost wanted to be in business with her, and that's a hateful woman." And so if they're hateful, you're like, good riddance, right? I mean, because honestly, that's not the kind of people you want anyway. You want kind, loving people on your team and as your customers, right? So I just wanted to read you a little bit of that today and just tell you that, we need to make sure we're using the talents that God has given us. And I truly believe that there are those of you on this call that you're leaders and you're leading in other areas of your life. And you're a born, I mean, I think there are born leaders in some ways that you'll see kids that come up and they naturally, but then there's also learned leadership. And some of you, I feel like, are leaders, but you're not leading the team because fear has stopped you from inviting other people to join you in your business. And y'all, we're going places this year. I'm telling you what, I got a good feeling about this year. I have a good feeling about all the directors on this group because we all have common goals that we are moving this year. Like, this is not going to be a mediocre year, one of the ones that we're going to look back and go, well, it was a so-so year. I better really hang on by the skin of my teeth. This is a group that I want us to elevate, and like this year, have it be one of those years that like, that was one of my best years ever because I determined ahead of time that it was going to be. And I was talking with some friends. I have some company over tonight. We were talking about some things that they had done, some kayaking and just different adventures that you do. And she said, it's just like, she was just like Mary Kay when you're doing these adventures. You focus on not what you don't want to happen. Like, I don't want to drown in the river. I do not want to capsize and drown in the river. Instead, you focus on what you do want. I'm going to be safe. We're going to have fun. Everything's going to be great. And of course you take precautions, but in Mary Kay, a lot of times we focus on what we don't want. Well, I don't want to recruit her because what if she gets in and she's not any good and then she starts driving me crazy, or she gets in and she gets inventory and then she don't sell nothing and I'll feel bad because I made her order product. Or what if I get her in and then she quits talking to me and I lose a friendship over it? Or what if I get her in and, well, what if you get her in and she becomes a national sales director? And what if you buy inventory and you sell every single bit of it instead of thinking, what if I get in and don't sell any of it? What if you get in? What if you get her in and she's the next girl in your unit that wins a car? You just got to start thinking positive, you guys. And I think it's easy to think positive for somebody else. Like, it's easy for me to tell Susie Q over here that you can do it. You can win a car. And if I ask any of you, and I would say, you guys, do you think do you think my unit can do $1 million this year? I don't think there's not one single person on this call that would go, I don't know, Cleta. I mean, I just don't know if you got what it takes to do that. All of you would encourage me and go, and most of you would say, oh girl, yeah, you're doing it. If anybody can do it, you can do it. Right? And I can do that to you, but why on ourselves? We don't believe in ourselves. Other people believe in us, but we don't encourage ourselves. So I want to just say this week, I want you to really work on putting yourself out there and asking people. Ask people if they'd like to have a facial. Ask people if you can give them their card. Ask people if they'd like to have a sample. Ask people if they'll go to the sales meeting with you. Ask people if they'd like to be on your team. Okay? Just ask. The worst thing that can happen is that they'll say no. If it's a stranger, you're never going to see her again anyway. Who cares? If it's a customer, she can still buy from you, even if she don't recruit, right? So you're just gonna put it out there, okay? Just this week, I just want you to put it out there and see what happens, okay? And there is a little thing I shared with the sales directors, okay? And some of you that have been in a long time have heard this, and some of you have not because you've been in a short time. And I'm going to share the screen so that if you're on live, you can see it, but I'm also going to read it for those of you that are on the phone. And this is something that Gloria Mayfield, she came up with, and I just thought it was so good. Okay. So this says 52361. It's like a zip code. Okay, 52361. And this is an idea from Executive Elite #1 National in all of Mary Kay, 2 years in a row, that she designed to help you move fast and build strong in your Mary Kay business. And I want to challenge you to do this week. Okay, just this week and see what happens. So 5 is 5 new names a day. You can get them from referrals, from party guests, like if you know how you do facials and they turn over the back, you can get them that way. From customers, warm chatting, doing life, whatever, however, it don't matter. 5 new names. 5 new names. So if you've got some appointments, it won't be a problem because you can get the referrals. But if you don't have appointments, then you may call customers and ask them if they have anybody that could refer to you. You can go out and meet 5 new people. You can figure out how to get you 5 new names. Remember, we're not worrying about yes or no. We're just trying to get names, right? We're just going to ask. Okay. Number 2 is 2 new bookings. So 5 new names, and then it's 52631. 5 new names, 2 new bookings. Every single day, you're going to book 2 appointments. And it says getting build relationship building appointments like facials and parties on your books. These are not held appointments, just bookings. Aim for trying to book one by noon and another one by 6 p.m. Okay, so really what you're going to do is you're going to get these 5 names, and then you're going to try to book them. And you're trying to get 2 bookings a day. We know everything we book don't hold. I mean, I wish neither one of those girls could come. I mean, I booked them both. Neither one of them come. I still have them, though, and I'm following up, and I feel like at least one out of the 2 that I'll end up being able to get with, right? So you're just going to get them on the books, okay? Then 6. So it's 5 names a day, 2 bookings a day. $600 in sales in the week. And holding 6 facial appointments or 1 full party minimum. So 6 faces, or you can do it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 appointments, or you could do 1 party with 6 people to put the product on people's faces. All right. So $600 in sales, 6 facials, 6 faces during the week. Okay. And then 3 is 3 face-to-face interviews each week. 3 people that you sit down looking at them at their face and you talk to them about the business. I shared with the sales directors, and I'm also going to put it on each director will put it on y'all's Facebook group page, but I'll also share it on the Boxer group too. But there's 2 little forms that are really easy to go by if you feel like you need a little cheat sheet for an interview. And it'll just basically help you ask the questions, and one of the sheets shows you some of the objections that you can overcome when you're doing an interview. But I shared on the call I did Saturday morning is I talked with my friend Catherine Scott. I think she's on here tonight, as a matter of fact. And we went to lunch and had a face-to-face interview. I got to know her a little bit better. I talked to her a little bit about the business, and then I told her that I thought she would be great, and she said she was very interested, and I just went ahead and signed her up right there. Instead of saying, well, great, go home and think about it, talk to 10 people who don't know anything about Mary Kay, let them talk you out of it. Instead, I just signed her up, right? And then the next day, she placed a Ruby Star order, and we have her first party book this week, or Tuesday. So, that's how you do it, okay? And she and I had text some, and I'd sent her a video, but honestly, the face-to-face interviews are what going to get you new team members. They really, you just got to trust me on it. Because then you can really talk to someone and find out why they would want to do it, and why they think they would be good. Why do you think they would be good? So 3 face-to-face interviews. If you hold your 6 appointments, or if you do 6 faces, just know that 3 of them you need to talk to about the business. Okay? Doesn't say you have to sign them up. You just have to talk to them about it. All right? And then 1 is fill out your weekly accomplishment sheet, and it's your accountability sheet, the results for the week. These you can get on paper, or you can just go to marykayintouch.com. You look under business tools, and at the bottom, as a matter of fact, let me stop that share and show you something. Most of y'all know this, but just in case you don't, I will show you. So what you're going to do is you're just going to go to right here under In Touch, scoot that over, Business Tools, and at the very bottom of Business Tools, it says Weekly Accomplishment. And then you just click Enter Weekly Accomplishments. And of course, you have to be logged in. Every time I'm on here and try to show y'all something. I don't know if any of you have Chrome, but sometimes Chrome, it just starts messing up with In Touch. And actually, I know they were updating In Touch earlier today. I don't know if any of y'all had trouble getting on, but I saw that Laura Beitler sent a thing out to the top directors, and it said that they were, whoops, hang on. Oh my goodness. One thing you have to do to get on In Touch is you have to put in your correct consultant number. That always helps. I don't know why. Like, you put in someone else's, it don't work. Okay, so here's Business Tools, Weekly Accomplishments, Enter Weekly Accomplishment Sheet. And then there it is right here. And then you basically put like the day that you have an appointment, the hostess names, how many hours, how many guests, how many orders, how many bookings. how many skincare sets sold, how much sales less your tax, and then right here you do, was it a facial, online, on the go, party, reorder, or whatever. And you can do it every day. You go in here and enter your results. And at the end, when you're finished, you close it out. And so it's a way for you to keep up with what you're doing. I just got to tell you that before I became a sales director, I filled my weekly accomplishment sheet out every single solitary week for 2.5 years. And I turned them into my director. Because we had a thing where if you didn't bring them to the meeting, you couldn't get recognition. Like you couldn't just say, yeah, I sold $700. They're like, really? Let me see your weekly accomplishment sheet. So on the sheet, it showed how we sold our $700. And it's just what we did, and it kept up with your sales all week long. It's pretty awesome. So back to the zip code. It's 52631, and I will put it on our Boxer group. 5 names a day, 2 bookings a day, $600 in sales, holding at least 6 faces, 3 face-to-face interviews, and 1 weekly accomplishment sheet. And so this is just a little program I want y'all to try this week. And before next Sunday, what I want you to do is I want you to send your director your results of the week. And I want you to, the best way to do this is you could take this and then just have your days of the week, that says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the whole days of the week. And then down the side, put 5, 2, 6, 3, 1, and then just do a check. Okay, got my 5 names. Monday, done. Got my 5 names Tuesday. But I would like for you to turn that in to your director, your results of your week, what you did, and then let's see your results. Because I know for a fact that most of the time, while we're not where we need to be, is not because of you or your personality. It's just your numbers. You're not asking enough people, and we're not seeing enough people. That's it, bottom line. I did a training on Monday morning. I've done so many trainings this week. It's kind of crazy. I spoke to some directors in Jacksonville, and I was comparing my unit with my offspring's unit. And I said, do you know that our average order per consultant in a month is within $20 of each other? Like my unit, Larie's unit, Lindy's unit, Janet's unit, within $20 of each other. I think mine was $484 was my average order in my unit, like in a month. Like if 50 people ordered, the average order was $484 or whatever it was. And theirs was like within that same range, within $20, $30 up or down. And so what I was telling those directors is that we really all are the same. And the only thing that makes me different than them was that I had more unit members. And there's only one way to get more unit members, and that is to book, sell, and to recruit them. And so, it's really that simple, is we just got to increase our numbers. And there's only one. Do you know that the $1 Million Directors this year, their average order is the same as mine? They just have more unit members. They just have more unit members. So I know what I have to do. I have to get more unit members. And so I've got to build more senior consultants, more red jackets. I got to personally add team members to my unit to get where I want to go. And if I don't, there's a really good reason. It's because I didn't do that. So, really, it's really a simple plan, And I went to this thing Friday night with my husband, and it was a direct selling company that he's doing, and they talked about, Mary Kay has talked about this too, and it's exponential growth. And a lot of you guys have probably heard this, and even Mary Kay had talked about it. And let me see if I can find it right here. I don't see it right here, but it was where Mary Kay talked about it. It's like, would you rather have this much money, or would you rather have a penny and have it doubled every day for 30 days? Would you rather, I think it was like, would you rather have $50,000 right now? I can give you $50,000 today. Or would you rather have a penny and let me double it every day for 30 days? And a lot of people that don't know exponential growth will say, give me my $50,000. But if you let it double every day for 30 days, it's $5.5 million. $5.5 million. That's pretty stinking good, isn't it? Or five, yeah. If one is $1 a day anyway. That's pretty awesome. So what the guy was talking about there, and he was talking about exponential growth, is you get one person in, and then you help them get one, and then that's 2 people, and then you help them each get one. That's 4, and you help the 4 get 1. That's 8. That's 16, 32, 64, and like that's how it goes. And when you get about halfway through the month, it's like golden. But what we do is we don't think of it in that way. How your unit can grow as a director by helping each one reach one. And Mary Kay used to have contests herself. Mary Kay Ash would put a thing out. And she goes, okay, this month, each one reach one. Everybody needs to get at least one person, because everybody knows one person who needs something more in their life. Every single one of y'all know at least one person who would love to have more money, more time, more freedom. You do. And all we have to do is ask them. And Mary Kay could be the thing that can set them free. I mean, honestly. We got the best company. You don't have to worry about the products because Mary Kay has this massive manufacturing plant and a massive the distribution centers. So they've got the scientists working on it. We don't have to worry about, we're not the ones in there mixing up the little formulas. They got that. Honestly, when the product comes out, we just know it's going to be good because they have already researched it, tested it, and they're not going to put out stuff that isn't good. That's why the new Miracle Set 3D should have come out 5 years ago, but it wasn't ready. They didn't feel like it was good enough. Took them 5 years to develop that product. And so when it came out, they wanted to make sure it was jam up. So all we got to do is spread the message. And, people are going to like the products. All we got to do is sell our products ourselves and then build our team. And, it's not necessarily about selling lipstick. It's about building our team and helping people get set free from financial burdens and, other burdens on their life. So anyway, that's my sermonette for Sunday. And, I hope that, you guys will really think about it because I do know that no one wants to follow a leader who is not passionate about their business and who does not believe where they're going and that they're going to make it. And so if you've been a wimpy leader, whether you're a leader of your 2 recruits or whether you're a leader of your unit or whether you're a leader of your, you're a future director and you got 8, they got to know that you know where you're going and that you're confident you're going to get there. Because I would not ever want to get on a plane with a pilot who was not 100% confident he knew how to get to the next destination and that he knew how to fly the plane, right? So you guys got to work on that, work on your leadership skills. And the only way you get really good and get that confidence is by working and doing something like the zip code where you're out there. Honestly, I know that every single person I talk to does not sign up and every single person I try to sell to does not sell and every person I book does not hold. However, in my mind, they're all going to book, they're all going to buy, and they're all going to recruit. And you won't convince me otherwise until they actually tell me no. And that's just the way it is. And the ones that don't do all those 3 things, then they just weren't meant to be on my team. And I just don't worry about it. Now, if I have a heart of hearts and think they got to be on my team, then I'm not going to give up on them. I may ask them 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. One of this guy that said Friday night, he goes, no does not mean no. That's not one of the answers. It's either yes or no, not now. And if it's no, not now, then I'll call you tomorrow. And then if you call them tomorrow and they go, I said no, I said, well, all right, I'm going to call you the next day because it's a due day. Something might have changed, right? So some people you got to work on. Sandra Bowes, I had a facial in July, the beginning of July. I did not sign up till September. So that's all of July, August, and September that she did not quit asking me to those blessed meetings. You guys, and then I finally went and then I said yes. I wanted to say yes the first time, but I needed to be convinced, right? And I need to figure it out. And so people that are really in your heart, don't give up on them because they'll be on stage thanking you for not giving up on them. How many times we heard that? And so anyway, there you go. So I'm fired up. I hope you're all fired up. I'm fired up about my business. I'm fired up about asking people and booking people and recruiting people. This week, this is the week to really get them in because you get the agreements in this week, especially if you get them in before the 15th. I want y'all to think strategic. If you get your new team members in, their agreements in by the 15th, the next 3 or 4 days, then for them to get the maximum amount free would be their first 15 days, which will still be in August. So that could be a win-win for both of you. She could get in this month with her August key. She could get her $600 order in or more, her star order in by the end of the month, which will help you with some of your goals. And it can all count for this month. If you recruit people, which I still try to recruit people the last day of the month too, but that production will go in for September because some of them don't have time to get it all in, you know, in the last hour when it's midnight on the last day of the month. So really be concentrated on bringing people to your sales meeting, you know, tomorrow and Tuesday or whenever your meeting is, and doing your interviews. I will probably try to do my 3 interviews this week, you know, between now and Wednesday, because that's the 15th. That way you'd have that full 15 days to get the orders in, okay? All right, well, I am going to stop the recording.